Somebody else enter. I entered the last two.
Yachter.
I entered the last one. What are you talking about?
I don't think I think you did because I think we because
Yeah,
I think I did it before
someone didn't record on time.
Yeah, because we talked for 40 minutes and we're almost done, and then someone said, "Oh, I forgot to hit record."
Guys, I hit the record button last time. All right.
So did it record?
Yeah, it did. I just wanted us to repeat everything we said in the last 40 minutes again, so that way we could just do it a second
Just to
time.
make sure we're clear about stuff. For sure.
Welcome back to Fables of the Holotables, everybody. I'm Matt. Over to my that way is Troopers, and I know it's wrong for you guys, but it doesn't matter. And then over, oh god, I can't do cameras. There is Yachter. Their names are on the screen. If you can read,
you guys can read, but also this is a podcast, so like, stop looking.
Don't. You're driving
do your
right
chores,
now,
man.
You're driving. Look at the road. Don't look at us. Look at the road,
Richard. Stop looking at the road, Richard. Go super chat
Richard,
this video.
You're gonna crash, Richard.
Right. Super chat the video is crazy.
Richard, pull over and super chat the video right now.
Richard, reach for the officer's gun. I'm kidding.
Anyways, boys, it's been a busy week. What are your thoughts?
The week definitely is bad. And let's just say that there's a batch of people coming into the near future. Yes, I'm talking about Omega.
Great
that's so loud. You can't.
Oh, I didn't know. Whoopsies.
Please, no.
This is how Liberty dies.
With thunderous air horns.
Hell yeah.
Also, Yachter is going to continue to be the Shadow Man, like many of you said last time.
Yeah, I'm like the Hat Man, but like for SWGOH. If you play too many SWGOH, like deep at night, I'll just kind of, watch behind you. Whenever you're on a sleep deprived GAC, I'll just be like.
But anyways, this is a SWGOH podcast.
Yeah.
We should talk about SWGOH. Troopers, what are your thoughts on all the news we get? Well, actually, first recap the news for people that don't know everything that's come, and then give us your thoughts on it.
Yeah. So CG is just back at being geniuses and doing IQ plays that we just could never fathom. Like, they never go back on their word, right? So originally, in their original post when eras came out, it was stated, at the end of each era, we intend to provide a new event or journey guide level unit to pursue using all the units you've worked on acquiring through the era. However, Meathead, again, not Meathead's fault, chat, let's make that clear, but Meathead posted, he said to a question in Discord, he said, great question. Yes, typically our intention is to have an event or journey guide character that directly uses a team you are chasing in an era. Good. However, due to bandwidth issues, we were unable to complete the event in time for this era and had to cut it. With that being said, the new Bad Batch squad is still a solid squad, and we cannot wait to share with you the rest of the characters who make up the new Bad Batch team. I have a few issues with this. We're going to start small and build up. First off, reveal the other characters. You already did in Omega's kit reveal. We already know Batcher's coming. You already said Mercenary Wrecker's coming. Mercenary Hunter's already coming. And then you already said Crosshair. That's the Bad Batch team. What kind of suspense are we trying to build here when you already literally told us what the team is going to be in the kit? So there goes that last half to try to build up and redeem it. That didn't work. And bandwidth issues. So you're telling me a multi-billion-dollar game that is the most, I think, the longest running Star Wars game that has gained active updates and everything can't. Because it's going to be another 2 months. I think
SWTOR is longer running, isn't it?
Is it still getting updates?
SWTOR, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, okay, fine. The longest running.
It's the highest grossing Star Wars game of all time.
There we go. The highest grossing Star Wars game all time. In 2.5 months, can't come up with more bandwidth to come up with an event.
So I want to play. I want to play the devil's advocate here, okay? But before I start doing that, I want to clarify that I'm not a fan of this. I don't think this is a good precedent to start with, especially in our first full episode. Like, That'd be me, like, if I was like, I don't know, giving you your food at McDonald's and be like, yeah, every meal is going to come with a side. And then the first meal I give you doesn't have a side. And you're like, I thought you said every meal comes with a side. Or I guess not McDonald's, just any restaurant. And you're like, oh yeah, every other meal you get will come with a side, but this one's just not. And it's like, okay, like that doesn't feel great. Not a great experience. So again, I'm not a huge fan of this, but I want to try to find some positives or maybe just less negatives inside of it. Well, I want to address the first, each point that you're making as we go along. So, your first point about the anticipation of the team, I don't know if they've reviewed them all already, but I think he's just trying to say like the team is still really solid that you can invest in. I don't think he needed to be like, oh yeah, Omega Batcher, Crosshair Hunter, they're all really good still. I think he's just trying to say like the team is worth the investment still, even if they don't feed into anything else. So I don't think that's like a huge deal. It's by far like one of my lowest points. And like you said, it's the lowest point on the totem pole of issues here. The bandwidth thing, I want to try to put a positive spin on that. My hope, and I'm probably wrong, but my hope is that they are working on some bigger updates and better things to come, and that are just taking longer and that are coming in the future. And that was just happened to be the thing that had to get cut. Because if a better raid is coming or a better new game mode or rework to current game mode, something like that is coming, then I would be really excited and I'd be okay with them cutting one era to bring us better stuff for the rest of the year. Does that make sense? Like cutting back on one to bring us more in the rest of the year. What are your guys' thoughts on something like that? If that's the case, maybe it's a little speculation.
Yeah, I mean, like, kind of like right off the coattails of what you were saying, whatever they're working on to have what's currently in development to be completely scrapped, it has to be like something pretty groundbreaking, akin to like moving the crystals to Grand Arena, something instrumental for this year. It kind of gives me hyped, but at the same time, it also like kind of devalues the episode pass for me, because it's like, well, it's not exactly going to help you towards a new raid or new journey character that you may or may not be getting, because the 20 shards mean nothing now, right? I mean, they've already meant very little. It's very just kind of just like a, to tie a ribbon on it, but now it kind of just feels meaningless.
I still don't think that changes too much of the episode pass value. I think so much of the episode pass value is in the extra episode currency you get, that the shards not being as relevant, like the last one, would that be had with the Ahsoka Tano stuff? Like, yeah, a lot of those characters, if you didn't already have those characters at 7 stars, they probably didn't help you that much. It's just more of like a nice to have. But yes, I agree. Like, it's less incentivizing, because that's the exciting thing. Like the hype factor, I think, in the episode pass is getting the newer characters. So I get what you're saying there.
I don't know what could be so big, because another thing that we need to consider is the fact that I need to turn off my Discord notifications first. But second, what I'm worried about is if they're saying the president like this, which we're being more open-minded, like what if people are like, they didn't even make a forum post about it. And that's what I was talking to Beaver about earlier. Like the fact that we got this from a Discord message, they couldn't even make an official forum post. Hey guys, we're scrapping this, but we're working on something, and we're really excited about what we're working on, but we're gonna have to unfortunately scrap this so that we can do this for you guys. The fact that they 100%. Couldn't even take the time to do a forum post, okay, yeah, things happen, things go on plan, okay. But the fact that we had to find out, someone had to screenshot that and send it to me, and then I have to disperse it amongst the community, the content creators. Beaver didn't know about it. Nooch didn't know about it. They were all like, wait, is this like, I'm like, no, it's not Photoshop.
I got sent it by a few people, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we shouldn't have to be getting information out like that, where like whether Matt is getting it from a few people, or Yachter is getting it from a few people or stuff. It should be, oh, there's a forum post. All right, all content creators should usually check forum posts. We should be able to see that, and that's how we should be getting the information, not just a little message like that. Like something that big.
And I think the bigger point that I think you kind of touched on there is they should have given us the shit while also giving us the riches, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, deliver the bad news with some good news. Like, they should have been like, hey, unfortunately, we are going to have to cut the event that we were planning on doing for this episode. This is because we are working on this. More details to come in the future. Like, it doesn't have to be like a whole bunch of details about what they're working on, but at least do the reveal. You know what I mean? Of like, because otherwise it's just bad news with no good news, and people are just gonna be upset about it. And I think justifiably, I think I think everyone is justified in being upset about this. And I was very optimistic about this era before it started and thought, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not the biggest Bad Batch fan, and season 3 wasn't the greatest in my opinion. Like, it's not that bad, but it's just like not my favorite thing ever of Star Wars. But I think they fumbled this one pretty bad.
Yeah, and going sort of segueing, sidetracking, a lot of people's concern is, since this is not going, because a lot of people thought this was going to be the last mercenary thing and stuff that would lead into a raid with all the mercenaries and stuff. A lot of people's fear is we're going to have Naboo with them making that update for a few extra months longer than we thought we were going to have it. So and we're not going to get a new raid until the end of the next era.
So I went back and I was reading the messages that Meathead had sent around that time, and people were asking about Naboo raid, and like he was making just like cheeky remarks, kind of messing with people a bit. But I don't know, the kind of impression I got was Naboo is not going anywhere for a while. And he didn't explicitly say that. I'm going to say that right now. But it was just like people were asking, like, when is Naboo going away? And he was like, I'm not sure. Like, I don't really have much to say on that. Like, I don't know. It's just...
It's never going away. It's purgatory. It's here to live with us now.
I'm worried. And because I think Troopers and I were talking about this on stream of if the next Conquest character is required for the new raid, that means that the new Conquest character is going to be unlocked in May. And that means the new raid won't start until later in May or June. And that is a long time to wait for a new raid. That is 11 months if it's all the way to June, 10 if it's May. And I don't want to be in Naboo for another day.
I have an idea about this, but
okay.
I'll let you finish.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, this is purely speculation, but you know how in the legacy raids we used to have, Sith trio raid, like various tiers, and then like the heroic tier, and then we had the same thing for the Sea Pit raid, and that only legacy tiers where you get stuff like the Han Solo and the General Kenobi and all the raid rewards. I wonder if they're trying to maybe have more, like, have a solution for that problem where people are saying, the raid is too boring, we keep doing the same one over and over. Maybe there's a way that they could like cycle raids, and maybe they have like a new introduction of like master raids, like a raid that's more difficult than the Naboo raid or anything else, but these master raids are the only ones that are like giving out character shards, and then the other raids, like the ones like we have so far, the Endor raid and the Naboo raid, are only for like gear. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I think the best solution I've heard to raids, I always give credit to Jack the Beast, because he's the one who came up, or the first person I heard to say it.
You mean Jack One Best?
Oh yeah, Jack One Best. Yeah. I always want to call him Beast too. I also always want to call him Jack the Beast. But yes, Jack One Best. His
branding.
Is raid seasons. Because I think that'd be really fun, and it would maybe kill a little bit of the thematics of it. And if you had like different characters being used in different raids, but it was at least a way to like cycle things and make it fresh. You can also reuse content and just give us seasonal multipliers when we go into raid seasons, where certain teams perform better or certain teams are required for higher tiers or something. I just dislike how restrictive raids are right now, and you feel like you're punished for not farming the things in the raid. I just feel like there's so many other game modes that we're required to farm things for and GLs that we're required to farm things for. I just don't feel like we need another area in the game where it's like pinholing us into farming a certain team. And so I really like the idea of raid seasons, and then every year you introduce one or two new, or like every year you introduce one new one into the cycle. And so it just becomes more and more diverse as the years go by. And I don't know, they run for a month that you do a raid, and it's got different multipliers and similar rewards to last month. As much as I would love for them to bring like raid characters back and brand new raids every 6 months or something, I just don't think they have the bandwidth for that. And so I think raid seasons is a really fun alternative for both the community, and it saves them on dev assets, I think. Troopers, thoughts?
This bandwidth thing is sounding a lot like the defense nerf in the Great 2021. This is just, I'm just getting flashbacks of that. Oh, it's for the defense. Like, it's the defense.
They do like doing that, though. They do like to get that, retaliate stack on you.
Yachter, where'd you go?
I'm a ghost.
Whoa.
I'm also totally not doing my Naboo raid right now.
Oh gosh. But no, I think we can chalk this up as, all right, this is their first full era. Maybe stuff went as unplanned. We can give them a little bit of a pass. But if they mess up on the next era, I'm going to just say, all right, you might as well just scrap it. All right, we tried something new. We did something good. But all right, let's just go back to what it was. Because the first era, okay, give them some slack. Let them be.
I don't know. I almost feel like we should be harsher on them because it's the first one. I'm trying to give them as much credit as possible. And I am grateful that Meathead came out and said something, because I'm assuming he said that as early as he possibly could. But as early as he was allowed to. This was your time to show up or shut up, basically. Of the eras was originally not received particularly great. The episode pass changes were originally not received particularly great. They've made some good changes along the way, and this was the time to show up or shut up, and they just really bumbled it pretty bad. And it's not hype at all, and I don't know, it's pretty disappointing. I really wish we got something. I'm not a dev and I don't know how hard it is to code things, but a new assault battle, something can't be that hard to implement. I don't know.
Could just be for future proofing. Maybe if they don't want to make new content for this game anymore, but they still want to keep the lights on, they can just have a system where, let's say in the distant future, there's 8 or 10 raids, like Naboo raid and Speeder Bike in this new gen. And then they could just keep them on auto. Maybe add different bonuses each month. So yes, I am proposing raid data. I'm just kidding.
Do you guys think that... so you said there's not a new event for them. Do you think that rules out a raid as well? That requires them?
Yes. Yeah, because he specifically said in the post, if you look up above, he literally says the new Bad Batch squad is still solid and cannot wait to share with what they make up for the new Bad Batch team. And so they had an event planned. Because if it was going to be a raid, he would have blatantly said something, or he would have teased it. He would have been, something like that. You know how Meathead trolls and stuff. Yeah. He did not do any of that whatsoever, and that's telling me that it's not for a new raid.
That's just so disappointing. But
I dented my door, so yeah, I was livid when I saw that.
We can only harp on that for so long. Yachter, do you have any final thoughts on the?
I think I've already said my piece about the new episode pass. I mean, I did actually, it's low-key related. I actually did buy my first episode pass, which is this one with Omega, just because I wanted to have some personal experiences with the last 2 episodes. Even though they were part of an incomplete era, I wanted to see a before and after. Because, there was too many times, I'd like to say, where, those 1 or 2 Zetas at the episode the top of the episode pass was like, man, it would be just, I'm at 38 right now. I could really go for, just one more,
I've been getting the episode pass each time, and I have not regretted it yet. I think it's next to like Hyperdrive bundle and Lightspeed bundles. It's one of the best values in the game. But not to say that you should like go out of your way to spend it if you don't have the money for it or whatever.
Yeah, don't bankrupt yourself on it. It's not Lightspeed bundles you should consider bankrupting yourself on.
Lightspeed bundles you can sell a sibling for. Episode pass, maybe a pet.
Well, I mean, that would imply a sibling is like, valuable.
Somebody will take them.
The sibling one is like, I want to say episode pass worthy.
Okay.
And then like selling your soul or like, I don't know, selling your Fortnite account. Tippity top.
Selling your foreskin.
Lightspeed bundles. That too, but that might be different for different people.
All right. Next question. Cut or uncut? No, actually, next question.
Whoa! I didn't know we were starting that segment. Okay. Well, hold on.
Thoughts on New Omega? What do you guys think? Have you guys gotten a chance to test her at all? Did you guys get her at all?
Here's the thing. I saw one battle where she was put with two people, Kylo Ren, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and then it gave me like a vision of the future forward with like a certain Conquest character coming up, maybe First Order, maybe Sith, maybe has some callouts to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Who's to say,
Jar
right?
Jar.
Yeah, well, no, but then I was like, well, wouldn't it just be funny if Omega was better than that and she was just like a light side, dark side Rey? Boom. That's the title right there. Light side, dark side Rey confirmed.
I saw a clip of her resetting Nihilus's cooldowns on repeat, and Nihilus
that was funny.
Annihilating the entire team.
Like 4 or 5 insta kills.
And I was just like, CG.
I'm surprised that they have not written anything yet. Like, we can't have this in the meta.
This leads me into another question. Do they have game testers? Genuinely?
No.
Yes, they have about, I want to say 400,000 roughly game testers. They log in every day. Sometimes they even make content for the game. And sometimes the game testers, they make content discussing about the game testers, which is pretty meta. And some would even say that this is like a fable.
Because how many bugs
from
do we
the
have?
Holotables?
How many bugs do we have that are still in the game that have been there for months? Like Bane is one of them.
Remember how long it took for them to fix the Jedi Knight Anakin and the Negotiator fleet bug? Remember that?
It took them until the next best fleet to fix that previously best fleet's bug. Ironic.
Scythe being bugged for the longest time. Finally got fixed.
Surprisingly not as bad as Negotiator. It was only bugged for like, 3 months?
Yeah, something like that.
That's like 2 weeks in SWGOH time. Which is sad to think about. But.
Chimera is dead now.
Yippee.
Because of all that.
Except not really.
Bane is still bugged, not dispelling.
AoE, yeah.
And then there's like some people that are like, that's actually supposed to be how Bane's kit is. And I'm like, bro, you're industry plant. I'm not trusting you, nor am I giving you a roster.
My brain couldn't comprehend the people who were saying it's working as intended. It literally says dispel twice, comma, then deal damage.
There's been points where the kit text was wrong, but I don't think this is part of the, for a Conquest character especially. You had 3 months beforehand to take a look at him, but apparently the one laptop was being used by someone.
No, they didn't have enough room, right?
They didn't have enough bandwidth to test out Bane. There you go.
And then
I go right up there with Herculean effort.
Isn't Hera, General Hera, still bugged too?
Yeah.
Where insta kills.
Ezra's still bugged with Glat. He's not getting backup plan. Hu Yang's still bugged. Spectre team is pretty much just the bug team. Everyone in that team has bugs.
Are they?
They didn't address it.
Do they not have enough bandwidth because they're trying to fix all of the crap they've broken over the last several months?
No, hold on. I'm pulling up their most recent forum post, update 113. They said there's only one bug that was reported. It was the Hondo can dispel captive on Omega. Oh, that's the only update that they said was a known issue.
That's for the new Omega, right? I'm assuming.
I guess. And then they said Omega's leader ability was not tiled the right thing.
Yeah.
Which,
and
those are the only two bugs that exist in the game, though.
But that kind of stuff bothers me too. Like, you're releasing a character knowing it has bugs, and then cutting other content and still not fixing things that you know are broken. Like, I like giving them as much grace as possible, because I know that it's not really the devs themselves' fault. They probably aren't getting enough resources from leadership. They're probably being stretched thin. Like, this is a common thing in the gaming industry. It's not exclusive to SWGOH, but at a certain point, it has to be like, come on, we have to have a game that actually works as intended. See, Yachter disagrees so much that he's walking away.
I'm being so serious. I would sign any NDA. I would solve all the NDAs in the world. And I would just happily do a free, unpaid internship with SWGOH to just test their game. Literally just test it. I'll sign all the NDAs. I'll do all that. I will literally just let me test your game. Let me put Omega with Nihilus. Let me just do the craziest compositions. Just see if it works as intended. Let me see if Ezra is getting a key mechanic backup plan applied to him. Like, I don't know how you miss it. Oh, wow. Ezra may go with them, and he probably should.
Here's the thing. I think please, someone correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
I legit think. Thank you. I legit think that having Arnold and the chat basically test the game for us for, CG there's no downsides to it. Free advertising for one. Secondly, you get to get the bugs out there and ready, and then you don't have to pay anyone. Like, usually if you're a beta tester, you still have to get some money from CG, right? I'm assuming that beta testers aren't just volunteers. They're doing this in their free time. We are the volunteers. So
here's the thing, though.
Unless they have some deep inner company politics change, I think they're just going to let us keep doing what we're doing, and they know it. They could just keep taking advantage of us,
But how many players are they losing from not fixing bugs? I would argue that they've lost a good amount of players in the last year due to bugs. The Chimera changes, I'm sure they lost players too. Scythe not working as intended, I'm sure they lost players too. And your newest GL having so many bugs on her team, who's incentivized to go for... I don't know anyone who's still pursuing Ahsoka that hasn't already got her. You know what I mean? The people that got her day one got her. I don't know anyone who's oh yeah, I'm actively working on my farm plan to go for Ahsoka very soon.
I sort of am. I'm farming all the shards right now.
I just wait for the Ahsoka Lightspeed bundle, where you get to get Death Trooper, who's a Night Trooper, and Enoch to get them to Relic 2. For $75.
It was Relic 1 for $65, and you had to have 330 shards or 300 shards already.
Just wait half a year after, you get a little increase to Relic 2 finally.
I worry for them. I don't want to see this game shut down or anything, and they're just I think the what they lose by having things go live and just let the community test it is they lose trust and the desire for people to want to get the newest thing. If they know the newest thing is going to be bugged when it's released, what's my incentive to go get it? It might not work as intended. Sure, it might be broken, but it also might be as equally not working, basically. And so I have no desire to go for the newest content because I do not think it's going to work as intended. And I think that, and that's coming from my point of view as a content creator who would benefit from getting the newest thing and being able to test it. I really don't have a desire to do it because I know it's going to be bugged.
Yeah, I can say my hype for the era has gone down drastically. I think I've told you this already, Matt. It's like, all right, a new character, that's great, that's cool, all that. But it's like, what is not going to work? That's our first question. What's not going to work? What's going to be bugged? How long is it going to take them to fix it? And I want to do fun stuff like Yachter and I, when Ahsoka's thing came out, we did a bingo on the kit reveal. I had so much fun with that. I want to do that again. I want to do that with the era stuff and everything. But like, it's hard to get that excitement to do stuff like that, or like do a hype party. I was talking to you, Matt, about like doing a hype party, get people ready for the era and stuff. It's hard for me to get behind content and get behind something that they're putting out when they don't have the same passion that we are trying to have.
Yeah.
And I can blatantly say that they don't have the same passion. I can't point people's names out. I'm sure Meathead has passion with his job and everything. But it's hard to say that the other people that are working on the game have the same passion when repeatedly there have been multiple bugs, multiple instances of issues and stuff, lack of communication. Like, it's just, we have the receipts on them. And that's what's really irritating me. And it's hard for me to get excited for an era, for all this new stuff they're trying to do, when it's just time and time again they come up short. But do you have any more thoughts on that, or?
No, if you want to transition to something else, go ahead.
Yeah. What my worry is with this next raid, sort of going into that Ahsoka thing, no reason to go for it. Imagine this next raid, you don't need Ahsoka or Balin. Like, what would be I would feel so bad for everyone that blitzed and got them immediately, because with this, by that time, it's going to be what? It would have been 6 months, 5 months by the time Ahsoka and Balin's been out. Well, Balin 1 more month than Ahsoka. So that would have given a lot of free-to-play players. They're going to all be farmable, the shards and everything. A lot of free-to-play players are going to be getting it. So that's why a big theory that I was going over with my chat is they're not going to involve Balin or Ahsoka in the new event, because by that time, free-to-play players are going to start slowly unlocking those high-tier characters. A lot of free-to-play players already got Balin even. So I want your thoughts on that, because they pushed that big thing. They pushed those two as a pair out together. We're all thinking, Mercenary Peridia raid. But as time goes on with this update with Naboo, I just don't see it. And with the soonest the raid could come out, it seems like too many free-to-play players are going to be getting that Ahsoka or that Balin for that raid. So what do you guys think?
Sorry, Yachter, you go ahead first.
I don't feel too bad if the Peridia Patrol, Balin Skull, Glat won't be used in the next raid. I truly don't. Because they're pretty bangalicious in Grand Arena, and I think that they're still going to be like that. I feel like the Malgus drop, in viability from when he was introduced to when JKCK was there, I feel like it'll be quite a little bit bigger for Glat's supremacy versus what comes next that, defeats Glat and Balin and stuff like that, because I really don't think that they're going to be challenged in Grand Arena, at least not this era with the whole Bad Batch. I am interested to see where it's going to lead to, but I just don't see where Balin gets dethroned. Let's say if this new Bad Batch team is crazy and it's only a couple hundred cryos, you don't need too many relics or whatever, and they beat stuff like Balin beat stuff. I feel like that'd be even more kick in the balls than just having an exclusive raid that doesn't involve them,
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
I'm with Yachter. I don't think I would care too much if they weren't included in the next raid. I know that would suck for the people that invested in them because they thought that was going to happen, but CG never said anything about that, and they never confirmed anything about it. They never hinted at that. So I don't think that's I don't know. I don't think that's too crazy. The other thing is I kind of think that with these updates to Naboo, that we're not getting a new raid until the second era of the year. And I think it'll be whatever that is what's going to steer the new raid. And personally, I'm hoping for Revenge of the Sith Anniversary as the second era, and we get something tied to that. Maybe a Jedi Temple raid, Order 66 raid of some sort, which would be sick. It'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I want to return back to the era like the Crate Dragon raid, where, I mean, sure, you had like Jabba, which was released at the time, but I remember the community thinking about the next raid after the Crate Dragon raid, where it was stuff that we already had. I feel like, just like Omicron's, these raids are too focused towards characters that we know are released like 2 months ago, which I understand from a financial perspective, but for a game where you want to use these raids as abilities to like, you know, show the Star Wars universe and these little bite-sized stories, it's a great medium for that. But imagine having the Death Star raid here, and then like, instead of having, you know, like 20 rebels that don't exist yet, and they're going to be used for marquees that are going to cost so much money, why not just use stuff we already have, like Biggs and Wedge, and just Farm Boy Luke, Darth Vader, stuff like that, you know?
Well, I think they have to do a balance of both. They have to require some new stuff and some old stuff. Because they do either one entirely. They either don't make a profit because they don't have any new stuff, or they piss everybody off because all new stuff. And so Naboo Raid, I think, aired a little bit too much on the all new stuff, as opposed to the old stuff. And then whereas Crate, I felt like had a better balance, where it only had a few new characters that were used in it. But even the new characters, they lifted current factions mostly rather than creating whole new ones.
Yeah, and here's the thing that I'm worried about is, and I have a theory that the next Conquest unit we're going to get is going to hint at what the next raid will be. And I know we were saying the timeline isn't fitting that much and everything.
Well, now with the Naboo update, I think it might. I think that gives me a little bit more of like, this Naboo raid is going to be here for longer than I want it to be.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking when we get this next Conquest unit, because what happened last year, Quadme came out, we were working on Gungans, and then right after Quadme, like a month and a half later, boom, there we go. We're right into Naboo raid. So I could really see that happening. That's going to be the sneak peek. That's where I'm expecting a road ahead, like a full-on road ahead, late February. That's what I'm going to be expecting, where they announce the next era. It's going to be at the tail end of this era. We're going to be entering the third final phase, where we're going to probably get Crosshair.
When do we unlock? When do we unlock Rey? It's end of next.
You unlock Rey
3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
And we
So
usually get the next announcement a week before we unlock her. Is that right? Or a week after we unlock her?
Week after.
I thought a week before.
I think it's a week before usually.
What wasn't it last time they did it earlier when they did it before because they were rushing it?
I think
that was for Luthen.
No, I think Rey got announced earlier than normal. But if we usually get the
because that was when they said that their puzzles sucked. I forgot about that a little.
Yeah.
I think if we're getting music stopped for some reason. I'm also echoing on somebody's computer. Troopers, I think it's your. Can you turn your thing down a little bit? Sorry, but what was I saying? I think if I'm looking at the calendar right, if we are unlocking her in 3 weeks, then that would be February 3rd. And then so the 27th or so would be when we get the next Conquest character announced. So I think we should see pretty soon here as far as where they're going with the future. Because I do think I'm kind of with you, Troopers, that I think that this is going to steer where the new raid's going, unless it's obviously something like way out there. Like if this is like an Old Republic character, I don't think we're going to Old Republic for the new raid. I wouldn't get your hopes up for that. But I'm hoping that we'll get some information as far as if that character is tying into the next era or not when they announce it. So
and a key thing that they said was that at times the Conquest unit will tie into the era, the themed era, but more likely than not, it will not.
Correct.
So that it's going to be interesting to see if they do that, if they make that Conquest unit tie into that era. or whatnot. Because at this point, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going on. Like they've gone back on their word more times than we've heard the truth. It's like, so I just don't know what to believe, what to hold true when it comes to the eras and what their patterns are and stuff. So I'm very interested to see what this next Conquest unit will be and what it can lead to per se, or if it's just going to be a one-off lifter.
I kind of hope for just a one-off lifter, honestly. I like those kind of Conquest characters.
JML lifter?
Another one?
Jabba lifter, question mark?
They want a Wonga unique ability? Oh my
Bib Fortuna, question mark?
I feel like Jabba's in a pretty good spot. Leia lifter?
What do you mean? Leia just got her, employment for this season ever since Glat showed up. Leia got her job, basically.
I'm just messing around. But maybe pivoting a little bit back to the Bad Batch era. Where do you guys hope this new Bad Batch squad lands in terms of power in the meta? Like, what would you compare them to as far as what you're hoping for as far as power?
I think it's going to be... sorry, troopers.
All right, no, you're good. You can go ahead. I talk.
You can do with the bespoke datacron and without, because we're getting one.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, just vanilla. I see them akin to Jar Jar with Gungans on Squad Arena, so no Omicrons. I see them using as that sort of viability.
That's pretty high.
And then, yeah. I don't know about the other kits they're going to have. I don't know if, Wrecker and Hunter are going to have JSC Omicrons as well, or if they're going to have territory, they're going to branch out Territory Wars, TB, whatever.
I'm expecting
Conquest.
very much like Gungans where each one is getting a different game mode.
Yeah. So that's what I expect. And then in GAC, I am expecting maybe I want to say...
Don't say it.
It's kind of hard to describe. I want to say JMLS on defense with the Omicron and the Datacron. I just don't... I was hesitant on saying JMLS because you could crit JMLS. Sure, there's the crit immunity, but stealth permanently while you can't get crit is an insanely annoying concept to deal with on defense. Can you imagine that in the next few weeks? Just being stuck behind that in 3v3? Like Omega, Wrecker, and Hunter?
Well, I think
I don't know if it's going to be still be 3v3. I think we're going to be...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Batcher's coming out too. So probably Omega, Batcher, and a Wrecker. Or maybe even old Wrecker. Just because he's such a tank.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
And he does have the Bad Batch tag, so...
Yeah, it's just you can't exactly save him because he won't get captive. But yeah, I think that's where my rough estimation will be. I can't say anything better to describe it because they're a whole other team on their own. They have a lot of variety from their kits. They have a little bit of Darth Maul. They have a little bit of I don't know. I don't want to say Leia, like a Thrawn. Passing the turn meter, but just increasing the cooldowns, doing funny stuff with that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a turn meter train or anything previously like the other one. But I think it might be a very buff heavy team. Maybe Gas could be a counter. I don't know. Because you saw old Wrecker during Arnold's stream where he was doing the AoE while he was under stealth. He got 10 buffs that way. It was Grandmaster Yoda level. So, yeah.
Troopers, what do you think? Where are you hoping for their power?
I hope they plummet and fall. I hope they're absolutely abysmal just to put the candle and cherry on top, just to wake CG up. Because if they're good still, then people are gonna still spend money. They're gonna get it. But if they suck, those.
But they're your fellow troopers though.
On the side though, that are on the fence of spending or not, because some people want to spend but are not sure, but they watch Arnold or whatever to see oh, this team's really good. All right, I'll invest or something like that, or I'll spend the extra $30 to get them 5 stars, whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
I'm hoping they just flop and people don't spend their money CG, because the one thing they'll look at is their wallet. They'll look at their wallet and be like, oh shoot, all right, we really need to step up our game. And
I think hopefully they don't just jump ship
I don't
like, oh yeah, the game's dying.
No, it's making too much money per month for them to just jump ship. I think we'll see way earlier signs if that ever starts to happen. But I think that my hope is that their power lands just below Zori, Zori Finn, because I don't want them to be absolutely trashed, because I don't want CG to fail that bad. I just want it to fall a little flat. And I think right below Zori is a pretty flat at this point in the meta. I don't think it's going to be a defensive team, because like you said, I think Gas has a really good chance at beating it. I just think we're going to find some pretty cheap counters for it that it's not going to hold up on defense for long. I also think that the most optimal version of the team is not going to be the 5 that they release. I don't trust CG to test their game enough to have the 5 that they release be the most optimal. So I think some member of the current Bad Batch is going to end up being in that team, or 2 members of the current Bad Batch being in that team, or current Bad Batch is going to take 2 members of this team and be really good. Like, I just don't think they're going to do a good enough job of separating everything out. I thought they were going to give them like a new tag, like a Bad Batch 2 tag or something. But like,
okay, I want the Bad Batch 2 tag, and who are those people in the Bad Batch 2 tag? It's Hondo and Anakin from Mortis. Boom, baby. That's the road ahead right there.
But like, just like with Quadme, when we first were testing Quadme, we found that Bad Batch Echo made a really good 4th into that team. And then Barris, or there's like a few different options last slide. I think Barris was generally one of the better ones. Shakti was also pretty good there. But anyways, like that kind of thing, I feel like Echo has a really good chance of being pulled into this team just because his mass days is so good and his base speed is just so high that I don't trust CG to test their game enough to not either make original Bad Batch really good with a couple of these characters, or alternatively make this team really good with 1 or 2 of the original Bad Batch. So I'll be interested to see how this all plays out and what 2 teams we end up making out of them. If they somehow do manage to make it both individual original 5, new 5, I will be impressed, because I really don't think they're going to.
Oh, dude, I'm if the ending of like the crosshair testing doesn't involve at least at like old school Echo being on the team at least, then I'll be disappointed. Like, no, you get that Echo to 372 and you try again.
What about double Omega, and then Crosshair ends up going to the original Bad Batch team?
No, I'll do you one better. It's like young / old Omega lead where she has no lead, and then older Omega behind her. Or you could do Lord Vader lead with Omega, because did you see that one clip where Arnold was doing the Lord Vader ult, and then Omega was right behind him in the ult, and he's doing like the little energy bow thing. It's like, I'm ready. Wait, aren't you supposed to kill me now? So yeah, that was kind of funny.
I feel like Lord Vader should get a unique that just insta-kills anyone under the age of like 15 on the other team.
Insta-kill all younglings. Or no, they just make it so it's like on auto. It just targets your own allies. So he'll just deal damage to Omega. He'll like cross the view. And just, like,
he goes to the ally slot of the enemy team until Omega dies.
Yeah.
Anyways, sidetracking from killing the younglings, we gotta save that for the Revenge of the Sith era. Mm-hmm. What I believe,
we should get a full team of younglings in the Revenge of the Sith era, and then get a new unique for Lord Vader, where he just insta defeats them if he's on the enemy team.
There's too many of them. Unique ability. If the enemy leader is Lord Vader, instantly defeat all youngling allies.
All right, but anyway.
Troopers trying to get us onto an actual topic. Yachter and I just talking about younglings.
Level impossible. No. What I'm thinking when I was sidetracking in my head.
You don't do that often.
I know I don't sidetrack ever. No. But what I was thinking is the next Conquest, going back to that before we start talking about slaughtering younglings, what I think is something that is long overdue is a Conquest level ship. It has been a really long time. And I believe something that we shouldn't be throwing to the wayside is either a lifter or something that introduces what the next capital ship will be, just like how Darth Malgus did.
No,
I would say I think the former is more likely.
The lifter?
Yeah, I think because we were talking about this the other day when we were talking about the current fleet meta, kind of ranking the ships. And we won't go through the whole thing, but I think Leviathan is still number one. I think Executor is the second best fleet in the game. And I think Profundity is the third best. I think you could honestly make a decent argument that Negotiator with Marauder is better than Profundity right now because it has a good chance at the top two. However, I think Profundity still performs solidly against Leviathan and can sometimes kill Executor. So, but I think that Profundity is in desperate need of a lifter right now.
That was what I was gonna ask is if you guys could pick a lifter for one fleet, any fleet, what would it be, and would it have a pilot? Well, I'm gonna assume it's gonna have a pilot, and who would it be for?
Yachter, you want to start? You want me to start? I already have an answer, so
I already have an answer.
Go
too.
for it.
Mine's already
Naboo
Luke and Ray.
Starfighter, and I want it to be an endurance lifter. Sure, we could have a whole new Galactic Republic fleet, but to be honest with you, just thinking about Conquest fleets gives shivers down my spine because I already imagine that it's broken on release and that it's insta-killing enemy capital ships. And I'm like, no, this is too much nausea for me to handle. So I'll just get I'll get my Galactic Chase. Honestly, I'm way more satisfied with Galactic Chases.
I hate to break it to
You're
you,
done
Yachter.
with them.
Galactic
You're done with
Chases are dead.
Chases.
No, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do
They
it
did
for
a
the
hard
Naboo
keep
Starfighter,
running.
guys.
They're gone.
I think Naboo
what's
Starfighter should have come when
The
we were in
Naboo
episode
raid
1.
came. Yeah,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be kind of funny?
Wow. It's not like they could have easily tied it in with the theme. Wow, that would have been genius. Go ahead, Matt.
Mine's gonna be unoriginal, but
Luthen?
no, Luthen. It's fine. Like I wouldn't care if it was Luthen, but I'd prefer Red 5. But if I can caveat that, I don't want Red 5 to be a Conquest ship. I want Red 5 to be the first raid ship. And make it happen. Arnold's prediction for 2025, 2024, 2023, 2022, I don't remember how long he's doing in it.
One day you'll be correct, and
Death
one day
Star
we'll have a
raid.
Death Star raid.
But that would make us happy. CG doesn't know how to do that, right?
If
Yeah, it's like they could listen to us.
Let me paint the picture, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They had to cancel
Fairy
this. They had to cancel this event that they were working on because they had big plans for the rest of this year. All right?
Supposedly.
We open up to episode we open up to an episode 3 era as the second era of the year. All right? Luthen ships come, sure, whatever. That can be their lifter for Profundity for now. Because I want Red 5 to come as a raid ship later. We get a Jedi Temple raid or Order 66 raid. All right. Clone Troopers is a big part of that. They get Bad Batch in there. I don't know, that doesn't technically fit, but like whatever. Bad Batch, all the Clone Troopers. You have a few separatists that are included in it that aren't included in the current raid. So like your trenches, your geos, your Newt. Oh, I guess Newt is currently in them. But anyways, and we get a Chancellor Palpatine raid character as the raid character, and Chancellor Palpatine, lifter for Lord Vader. Then we go into the Force Awakens era, and we get a journey guide character, and we get Snoke as a journey guide character who lifts up the rest of the First Order characters. And then we go into the end of the year with some criminal characters leading into Trooper's big theory, which is You'll have to watch a video
on
by Troopers on Break in order to figure out what that is.
Yeah. We're gonna be doing that later this week.
But if you've been on his streams at all, you've probably heard his big theory about a new GL working with the criminal underworld. But even if we say Thrawn, like the last era goes into a GL.
Rhoda. Rhoda.
But like then we go back to Brydia, Ahsoka kind of characters. Maybe with Ahsoka season 2. I don't know if that's going to be out by that point. You gotta give a year apart. You gotta have a year apart.
Ahsoka season 2 is 2026, right?
I thought it was this year.
No, because they just recasted Baylan Skoll.
Did they announce who they casted?
Yes, the guy from Stupid Lord of the Rings or something. I don't know.
Stupid Lord of the Rings. Did you just say that?
Stupid. Yeah, I don't remember. I think I skipped that movie where it's just called Stupid Lord of the Rings.
Whatever.
I think I might have.
Game of Thrones.
Episode.
Game of Thrones. Who cares about that?
Rory McCann.
Rory McCann. He act as Baylan. Time will tell.
The look. He kind of has the look. It works for me. Oh, he played Garp in the live action One Piece.
But yeah, I'm expecting a ship. I'm expecting a ship within this era coming out, whether it's Conquest. Well, it has to be Conquest, actually. I'm expecting a ship in this first.
Doesn't have to be Conquest. They can do a marquee, but I agree, it's more likely to be Conquest.
No, because all marquees they already announced all the marquees for this. So
yeah, so I will say, and I put this in my Reddit post when I made this like graphic for the new era. They said that there's going to be 5 new marquees to make a new Bad Batch squad. They did not say there's only going to be 5. So I think it's very unlikely that we get a 6th marquee, but I don't think they've said they're not doing a 6th explicitly. They've more implied that they're only doing 5. So and again, I think it's extremely unlikely that we get a 6th, but I think that's worth putting out there that if we do get a 6th, it's not like they're going back on what they said, because I don't think they've explicitly said we're only doing 5, if that makes sense. I
don't know what to take with CG's word at this point. I just
we get 3 marquees and they move on. Batcher never comes.
So actually, Crosshair and Hunter, they're in the next era. So
we just get Omega, Batcher, Crosshair, or something.
But no, to close out this thing, I wouldn't be surprised if the next Conquest unit is a ship to lift up or introduce the next fleet.
It's been a very long time since we've gotten a ship. I think that's a good bet.
And then the second half would be, once again, journey event where Era 3 leads to a journey event, and then Era 4 leads to that GL like they did with last year. Because we're basically following the same cadence that we did last year, except it's more organized. Jar Jar was a journey event character in the second era, technically, I guess. And then third era, we basically were farming up Baylan and Ahsoka stuff. We got Baylan. Fourth era.
Bro, what if they were planning on some journey guide event for Bad Batch and they just take the character and turn him into a Conquest unit?
I already know who it will be.
Like Hemlock?
It's going to be Dr. Hemlock.
Yeah.
It would be Hemlock.
They just take Hemlock, make him a Conquest character. Dude, if he gets announced as the next Conquest character, for a fact it was supposed to be a journey guide and they made him a Conquest character.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I'm not even going to question that. And it would make sense, because what would they do? All these Bad Batch themed feats, all that with Omega stuff.
Well, I mean, we already know it's going to be Bad Batch themed feats. Like, it's just going to be the thing.
Here's the thing, though. I would say that they would keep it thematic, which they did a decent job of doing with Darkseid Ray, but really, are they really going to keep it thematic outside of that? Like, outside
they really didn't, though. Now that I think about it, there's so many Morgan Elsbeth and Great Mothers and Imperial Remnant and Night Sister feats. So, I mean, like, I don't really care about that much. Like, I don't care too much about the whatchamacallit, thematics of the Conquest. I more care about how easy the feats are to complete, and the feats that we had these last few times have been really easy. So, yeah,
I'm interested to see If it is they're gonna keep it thematic, then I could see this leading into the episode 3 thing, teasing episode 3 as the next era or something like that. But my one question, moving on to a new topic, will we be getting Road Ahead or community update soon? Because we got one about the Bad Batch era, introducing the eras and everything. When do you guys expect we'll get the next big official, not a Discord message or TikTok ad post from CG?
Post or Road Ahead?
Yeah, well, I think they're done with Road Aheads. They've been doing community updates. I don't think we get Road Aheads anymore. But yeah,
I think like the next community update, honestly, I don't think it's going to be until the next era. I think they're just going to do the announcements of the characters. Like,
no.
I think they're going to check out for the next few months while they just work on shit and then maybe come back one day.
On the event that they didn't have enough space for. Go on.
I don't know. My expectations are extremely low for this era.
Matt, just hear me out. Not to interrupt you, but hear me out. Imagine they're just playing that event in the office while this era is just going on. And they're just sitting there playing the event we were supposed to get.
You asked me on stream the other day what my hype was for this era out of 10. And I said I was at a 5. Like, I wasn't like super hyped. I wasn't necessarily a negative Nancy on it. After these announcements, I'm like down to like a 2. Like,
Okay.
Like, I at least thought we were going to get something out of the investment in these characters.
That was your clean hope. You said on my stream, you're like, oh yeah, we could. Like, hey, we gotta see what we're gonna get. At least we're gonna get something out of it.
But like, even if this team ends up being Great Mothers level with their bespoke datacron, I'm still not going to go for them because, well, one, I'm not in a place to really do that, but it doesn't lead me into anything. Like, at least if I had known Great Mothers was going to be as strong as they were, I would have gone for them because I would have been able to go into Balin, and Balin is worth it because then I get Great Mothers and Balin, and both of those are amazing, and like I'd have 2 great teams. But I didn't at the time, and so even if they're as strong as that, it's just like it doesn't give me the same incentive to push for it. So man, I guess I was so disagreeable he just had to leave. What do you think, Yachter?
Let me look at Discord. Is he gone? I was looking at.
Oh yeah, he just walked out.
Oh whoops. Okay, yeah. I was low key just looking at Marvel Rivals news. Don't judge me. That's literally been on my mind for the past like week or so.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your hype for this current era?
It is technically prequel content, so I have to say it's a minimum of like 5 for like expectations. 5 out of 10 for expectations. We're gonna see. I have hope for Omega. I think she's gonna be a baller or
is
like
it prequel content?
Team. Technically prequel because it's before A New Hope, right? Season 3 starts before A New Hope.
That would make Rogue One prequel content.
I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that.
And Solo prequel content. I think prequel content.
It's barely content in the beginning, so like I don't have any problems with that.
I think prequel content ends at the end of Revenge of the Sith, because that's the end of the prequels.
They ignored the Clone Wars anniversary basically, and they ignored the Attack of the Clones anniversary.
Yeah, I don't think they can do every anniversary though, so I'm not surprised they ignore some.
Well, it was a milestone anniversary though.
Yeah, but like they can pull that out whenever they want, you know. They could be like, it's the 13-year anniversary of this thing, so obviously they like the 5s, but
yeah, it was the 20th. It was the 20th for Attack of the Clones 2 years ago, I think. Yeah,
and so what, we just did 25th for Phantom Menace, right? Isn't that what it is?
No, it's 20th anniversary for Revenge of the Sith. So the same as.
No, I'm talking about this last year. We did the 25th anniversary for Phantom Menace. That's when we got all the Naboo stuff.
Yep. Correct.
And then this will be the 20th this year for Revenge of the Sith and 10th for Force Awakens. So
Force Awakens.
They could also flip those. I know we want Revenge of the Sith first, but they could flip those pretty easily. Because it doesn't necessarily need to align with the date in the year, I feel like. I don't think that matters as much. But anyways, what are your boys' closing thoughts?
Go ahead, Yachter.
I hope I will see you guys playing Marvel Rivals soon. That's all I could say.
No. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, what was that? I was talking about that before.
Oh, okay.
My laptop can't run Rivals. But no, all jokes aside, very disappointed. They messed up with the currency. They messed up with the initial release of the eras and stuff, especially with the galactic challenges and stuff. They fixed a lot of stuff, the currency, they raised the cap and all that and everything. But you need to stop making mistakes for us to complain about and then fix them and be like, oh, look, we fixed it. That shouldn't have been there in the first place.
100%.
Like we're praising them. Oh, they fixed it. That's awesome. Great. They raised the cap. That should have been something you should have thought of ahead and planned out. So I'm very disappointed so far as of right now. I know Matt and I talked early on in the eras thing. He's like, hey, give it a chance. You know, the episode pass, I'll give it to you. I'm broke, so I can't get it. But if you can't afford it, it's a great deal. I think that's a great thing for the game. But if you're going to keep releasing this stuff and you're going to tell us stuff and you're going to say how it's going to work, make sure it works how it's intended. I'm not even talking about characters. There's always going to be bugs. I don't care whether there's always going to be bugs. Fine. But game mechanics and currency and how you're going to release something that's new, especially with this first full episode, after you promised in the post and you said, hey, you will have something to work towards with these new characters. They guarantee it. It's like, oh, you will most likely. If they even put most likely, okay, no, hey, first era, there's introducing the, all right. But you promised us something to work towards, whether it was a journey guide level character or an event, and you don't deliver on it, that is wrong. So I hope it pays off. We get something big, but I'm gonna forgive, but I won't forget, because this is not a good start of releasing something new when you're trying to get new players, especially with the PC thing. Getting new players, especially with the Hyperdrive bundle or the Hyperdrive bundle, like with new people coming in with those new accounts and stuff, it's not setting the great precedent. And you need to work on your communication, make sure that your game mechanics work, and please listen to feedback. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, I think that this announcement that they're going to make, that I'm kind of speculating on, honestly, of what they're working on is why they don't have enough bandwidth. It needs to be big. They have to have a big announcement, because otherwise there's no real justification for what they're doing. And they can't afford to do this kind of thing again. Like, you can't have another era in a year from now that you're like, oh yeah, we're just not going to have an event for. It ruins the entire thing you set up of each event. Each era is going to have something for. And it's extremely disappointing that the first one is the one you're canning something on. If this is our fifth one in and they said, hey guys, sorry, we just couldn't get something done for this one, but we're going to, we'll have something big for you for next one. I don't think it'd be taking nearly as hard, but your first one, I don't know. It's just bad.
Can I add one thing?
Go ahead.
I add one
and
last
then we'll close
thing?
it out.
I played the Omega event. Why am I in the droid factory on Geonosis facing the First Order? Like that's just
Little
yeah,
things
we were facing
that's
crew
another thing.
lead,
It's
right?
like the little things like that, like effort. Yeah, we were facing crew lead in the droid factory from Clone Wars, the same one that
I think
Ahsoka
mine
and
was
Barris
on-
blew up.
I don't think mine was in Geonosis. I feel like when I did it, I think I had a different background, so I don't even think the background is set.
I thought mine was Starkiller Base, but whatever.
I think that's
Again,
what mine was.
But my point is,
Yeah.
lack of commitment, lack of like thematics. Like, we want to immerse ourselves, like replay through season 3 of Bad Batch or something like that.
Here's
Bro,
the thing. Here's the thing.
And
Here's the
the
thing.
art.
I want to kind of blow your mind. Okay, well, not really blow your mind, but just like to put it in perspective. If let's say, you know, these little things of like, oh, we're in Geonosis, we're in Starkiller Base, and this marquee event does not feel thematic at all, maybe it's a good thing they dropped the raid. Because if the raid was going to be annoying mechanic-wise, imagine how annoying it would be if it was like lore-breaking as well.
I don't think it was going to be a raid. I don't think that's what they were planning.
Or equivalent.
yeah.
Like
all
the
I'm saying
Crosshair
is
event.
we had Moff Gideon shooting at scout troopers during the Endor raid, so you know.
True. And we do have Stap facing other Stap in Naboo raid, so there's a Stap civil war, I guess.
That stuff just doesn't bother me as much as like literally just completely out of context characters for the marquee journeys. Like it's not that hard to just put even just separatist droids like in there instead. Like at least
put B1.
Yeah, the Genosians was somewhat fine. You fight the Geos, like at least
Or
it's
like
from the same era.
Barriss, please. Barriss would have been so much better with like Luminara.
Inquisitors, like I know it wouldn't technically make sense, but like I don't know. At least
wait, Inquisitors for the Naboo raid?
No. Oh, sorry.
Maybe
no. I'm talking about the
maybe have clones reskinned or something. That could have been cool. Like shock troopers, maybe.
Oh yeah, I saw that there was like a clone reskin in the marquee event though. That's sort of like a TK trooper.
I think it's further into the
Hemlock. Yeah, I think it's the 4-star variant because I got my the first episode pass today, so I was able to do like the one extra tier. Pretty sure they were TK troopers.
4-star was Geos. Anyways, we're talking in circles at this point. Thank you all for tuning in. If you watched this far into the video, go into the comments.
Go back to driving, Richard.
Yeah, you can get back on the road now, Richard. Did you believe that super chat? Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. That is loud.
No.
All right. Anyways, bye. Love you. Bye-bye.
Peace.